There are two ways that you can do a backstitch. One is called a full backstitch and the other is called a half backstitch. So let's start with the full backstitch. Decide on what the bite size is going to be. So let's say a quarter in this case. What we're going to do is going to be the following. You put your needle in, you come out about a quarter, which is going to be your bite size. Then what you're going to do to move forward is you're going to be putting the needle right in the point where you started, and you're going to come out a quarter in front of where the thread is coming out at this point. So like this. So with the next stitch, you're going to do exactly the same. You're going to go back into this point where your thread came out and come out a quarter in front of this point, which is here. This way, you're creating a series of loops that follow one another, and they create a very strong chain, like that. Like so. Now, let's do the half back stitch. The half back stitch is pretty much exactly the same, apart from one thing. So, we take a quarter bite, just like we did with the full back stitch. We go into this point and come out a quarter in front, just like we did with the full back stitch. But now to move forward, instead of going into this point, we're going to go halfway these 2 points. So in between each completed stitch, like this. And then we come out again a quarter in front of where the thread is coming out. So the only difference is that instead of going back to the same point where the thread came out, we're going to go back in between the last completed stitch. Again, instead of going in this point and coming out here, we go halfway the last completed stitch and come out a quarter in front of this. Now by doing that, the stitch density is becoming higher than the full back stitch. And obviously that will make the stitch a lot stronger. Like so. So now I've started and ended at the same points. If I would count the amount of points, the number of points where the needle has been going in and out, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's for the full back stitch. If we're going to count on this one, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So you can see that it's twice as many points, and it's a lot stronger. Now the good thing about the back stitch is that if one of these loops break, the whole line of stitching is not going to unravel like a machine stitch does. And if you do a half back stitch, it's even going to take longer to unravel compared to a full back stitch. If you look at it from the back, it looks something like this. It's quite thick because you have all these loops, but if you use a finer thread, that's not going to be an issue. Now you know how to do a full and a half back stitch.